Well, welcome everyone into a very special edition of Bulldogs Live, the Hamilton Bulldogs 2018 Champions Roundtable. This, of course, presented by our friends and partners at Budweiser. Can't thank them enough. It's the voice of the Bulldogs, Reed Duffy. Just honored to be able to be here to host this. And you can see joining me here tonight, members of the 2018 OHL champions, Matt Strome, Ben Gleason, and Nick Caamano. Mackenzie Entwistle is going to be joining us as well, along with the head coach, now assistant coach with the New York Islanders, John Gruden, and the architect himself, president and general manager of the Hamilton Bulldogs, Steve Staios. Guys, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to do this.
Great to be on with you, Reed.
So as we get this going, guys, before we jump into any questions and talk about what this 2018 team accomplished, let's go back in time and take a look at the highlights right from the Ottawa series through the end of you guys lifting the J. Ross Robertson Cup over your head. So I would say enjoy.
This side right there. Entwistle, Thomas, Strome, Sage, and Gleason. The power play unit is Sage hit front. Oh, that's gorgeous! Tick-tack goal! It's Ben Strome in front to tie the game. What a pretty passing play. Gleason to Sage.
Yes, and I'll take it. Believe me, it's not easy. Hang tight, baby, 'cause you leave me. Leave me with nothing left to do.
Glass, not mesh. Gleason shot on, rolls through the score. Brandon Sagan on the tip in front of the net. Beats Ryan Moore, who steps in and scores. Ryan Moore.
Stick with me.
Well, it's 2 years later, and I think my voice is just finally now recovered from that playoff run. I think it's only appropriate if we start, Steve, with you to talk about the process of originally bringing John Gruden to Hamilton and then building the 2018 champions.
Well, Reed, thanks for hosting this. It just brings a smile to my face to see just a few of the boys, and then the memories start kind of flooding back in. But I mean, I don't really know where to start. I mean, you bring up Grudes for sure. It's obviously the most important first move for us to be able to start moving towards building a championship. But each individual is so important to this team, and I appreciate going through this because you get to reminisce and reflect on it. But let me give you a quick story about hiring Grudes. And Nikki, you'll know this a little bit, but I think everybody knows that it was pretty clear. Grudes went through a tough situation in Flint with his first head coaching job in the OHL. And, we made the move to make a change with the coaching staff initially. When we acquired the team going into year two, we made that commitment to make that change. And I remember Mr. Andlauer, as supportive as he is as an owner, when I went through the process and interviewed quite a few people for the head coaching position, I said, here's our guy. And I kind of brought it to him before I introduced John to Michael and to Hamilton and to our fans. And Michael's first comment was, really? You want to hire a guy who got fired twice in the same year? And anyway, it was magic. He certainly was a home run of a guy. I got to know Grudes a little bit when we played together with the Bruins in a real brief period of time. But the quality of the person, first of all, the ability to control a room, his bench presence, his ability to communicate, absolute home run. The only problem is when you hire a guy like that, you only have him for a short period of time. But that was certainly the catalyst for us to be able to start the building process to win a championship.
John, how quickly when you got to Hamilton did you realize that coming into this room, you were starting with a great base that was going to turn into something special quickly.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that real quick, but just to further on Steve's, when I first got to Hamilton, I was introduced to everybody, and someone in the office said, "Would the other guy say no?" So that was a great way to be introduced to Hamilton. But other than that, I mean, these guys just coming on board, we knew. I mean, we're talking about a championship that we won in 18, but to like what Steve said, it started way before that. It started 2 years. When we did get in, and we did it as a unit with the other coaching staff and the trainers. There's nobody that I don't want to leave out because everyone had their part, but it was something when we got to that moment that we knew we were ready for. But just the camaraderie and having these guys and seeing them, I still see them and try to keep touch with some of them. But it's great to have this, and it was a special moment, and this is going to be a fun 45 minutes.
Well, that's the idea, and I'm not sure where we should start. I think probably with Nick Caamano, because, Nick, you knew John before the rest of us here in Hamilton did, and when you got moved from Flint to the Hamilton Bulldogs, knowing you were walking into the room with John Gruden, what was your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I played under Gruden for quite a bit there in Flint. Obviously, had a great time, and getting traded back to your hometown, it was an awesome feeling. And just knowing that Gruden is going to be my coach, I was excited. He always pushed me to be better. And I think everyone in that organization does what they can to make you become a pro. So I was happy in the spot I was. And the guys right away, I just felt like I've been part of the team for 10 years already. When I walked in the room, everyone was so nice to me. And it was just an awesome feeling playing with these guys.
Matt, Ben, you guys were in Hamilton. Matt, you were from day one. Ben, quite near day one. When John Gruden walks into the room for the first time and you guys get to meet him and start working with him, what were your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Strome.
It was great. I think, throughout the whole time Gruden was there, there's just a bunch of laughs. I think, during practice and before, it was all laughs. But, when we had to dial it in for the game time, Gruden was the one to get us all together. And, it was just great right from the start. We always had a good time at the rink. We all wanted to be at the rink, and it was just a good atmosphere there.
I knew Gruden for a while before playing in the OHL. Growing up in Michigan, always coaching against me. I knew right away. I said he was the guy for the job. He's a coach that you want to play for. Gives everyone a chance. To get an opportunity to play, and to rep the city of Hamilton. And it was just such a great feeling, seeing him come in that locker room.
Well, we've got Mackenzie Entwistle back on, so I'm going to have to bounce around a little bit here just as we're producing everything in the background. But, guys, let's go back to the beginning of the 2018 playoffs. And, Steve, I'll come back to you to start this off. You've made the moves. You've brought in players like Nick Caamano, Ryan Moore, Riley Stillman, Nick Mattinen, and, of course, Robert Thomas. You draw the Ottawa 67s in round one. And what were your initial thoughts going into that first-round series?
Well, let me start with what you started with as far as the players and building towards it, Reed. But it's there's just so much to sort of talk about it when you're looking to build something like that. I mean, we had Strome and Twisty there already through draft, able to take advantage of a situation in London with Ben Gleason. Got to went to go scout him play, but he only played a few shifts. But he's pulling the spinoramas off in the middle of the ice, which I kind of liked, and all his razzle dazzle. Figured we'd maybe be able to tame this wild horse, but sort of leading into all, like I have a story about each player, which is pretty cool, but we don't have enough time for it. But Nick Caamano and Ryan Moore, as far as acquisitions were, if I wasn't able to make that deal happen, I'm not sure how it would have ended up. Obviously, everybody has a story and a part of it for sure. But that was, you look at the draft, you look at the acquisition of Ben Gleason, and then you start to build with an early trade with Caamano and Moore, and you sort of start to lead into it. But I mean, for me, and I think I told the players in our initial meeting leading into these playoffs, was the only thing that's going to get in the way of us winning a championship was ourselves, and just try to kind of set the standard or the template for these guys to give them that belief, because certainly in my mind and in Gruden's mind, it was we had the group, and when you look at winning championships, not just about the talent on the ice, but actual character and the leadership in the group that you have there. So it was special. I mean, to me, leading into it, there's always butterflies, and you're never completely, honestly certain. But for me, in my heart, I knew that this was the group. I knew that they had it.
And now, as you move forward and you see that, John, is the players, as we talked about, that Steve brought into the fold are coming into your locker room, does the confidence level immediately go up that we're going to have something really special here?
Well, of course, I knew the key was, like Steve said, knowing a few of the players that we received. I knew Ryan Moore, I knew Nick Caamano, and then you hear about players and how special they are, and not just. I know Steve, how he looks and evaluates. He's not going to just evaluate what he sees from up above. He's going to do his homework, and he's going to make sure that the player he brings in is a good fit. And that's, you got a few months. I mean, we only had once we got those players, we got Ryan and Nick a little bit earlier, which was nice. But then Robbie Thomas, and then Mattinen and Stillman, and we had to come together. We had a month and a half, 2 months there, or couple months to get ready. And there's obviously challenging times, but we knew we had the right group, and it started with the nucleus that we had with Strome and Entwistle and Gleason to start with it. And when I could keep going with Wally and Jacko, but at the end of the day, I knew they were in a good hands. And once we got going and we got to establish our identity, that this team was gonna run with it, and sky was the limit.
Well, as we bring Mackenzie Entwistle in for the first time in the conversation, Mackenzie, as your team gets ready for the 2018 playoff, you guys clinch home ice advantage all the way through, at least through the Eastern Conference, taking the #1 seed, taking the division for the first time. What were your thoughts as you went in against the Ottawa 67s?
Yeah, first of all, guys, sorry about this. My Wi-Fi, and I don't know. I'm not very technically sound, so. It was fun. It was obviously, like you said, being able to play Niagara and play all these teams. It was definitely something special. And I heard you guys. I just tuned in, but I heard you guys briefly talking about all the players and people we picked up. It made it easy on us players, and it made it fun to play. And showing up to the rink every day was definitely something special, and we knew that we had the team to do it. And with Gruden and Steve and Cam and everyone we picked up, like I said, it was pretty easy. All we had to do was just go out on the ice and play, and it showed. And that's I think that's why we won.
Well, guys, as we relive that first round against Ottawa, I just kind of want to open it up and let you guys talk it through here, because we're going to take a look back at some video of that series against the Ottawa 67. So, Steve, John, feel free to call on the players here and get some memories of their time as we went through round #1.
Yeah. You want me to go here, Stevie?
Go ahead.
There's a lot of things. Again, I knew we were in really good shape when we started the playoff journey. I knew these guys, their heads were in the right spot, mentally, physically. There was a lot to be excited about. And again, you're not going to get to where you're going if you don't go through some adversity. And we went through some adversity that first round. I mean, we had a good start. We played really well, and then we lost that second game. And again, knowing that we had to go in against a hungry young team, and we've seen what they've done the last few years. We knew it was going to be tough. It was one of the tougher matchups for us in the first round. They gave us some fits, but we knew if we wanted to do this, we were going to have to answer the bell, and we did. We were outstanding. I think we beat them pretty good. I was trying to look back at some things, and it's coming back real quick as I'm watching this and talking about it. But we played hard, and that was our identity, like we talked about, and. It started it started there with Ottawa, and it was a tough series for us.
Yeah, if I could jump in, Gruden, the one thing about this group, and you guys know it, but just for our fans, the confidence that we had that this group of players and this coaching staff had these guys prepared to play however like you look at identity, you look at skilled teams, and you look at teams that are physical. And I know the guys jump in here, but whatever teams wanted to bring, we were ready for it. They want to play a skill game, no worries about that. They wanted to, come and try and punch us in the face. That ain't happening either. So we took a lot of pride. I think for me, watching this group, I think we took a lot of pride in being able to play however we needed to win games.
Yeah, that's Stevie's 100% correct. I think actually we were better the more that we were challenged as a group. I think we always sometimes seem to get a little bit in trouble when we thought we were better than what we were, and goes back to why we accomplished what we did. So it was special. And again, guys, I want to hear from you guys a little bit, but it was definitely exciting. And these guys put in the work. They're the ones that had to play the game, not us. But like Steve said, I think the top to the leadership, from the ownership to everybody, we prepared them, and then they ran with it.
Well, I'll call on Matt Strome because it's not the first time I've had Strome in an interview segment. So, Matt, as you go back in time, and you can talk about Ottawa and then into Niagara, because two different setups. One team that challenged you in the playoffs in the Ottawa 67s, they came out hard, and you guys dispatched them in 5 before taking on Niagara, who you didn't have a lot of success against in the regular season that year, but you outplayed them in 5 straight games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think, there was a bunch of stuff that happened before that series that just fueled our fire. And I think we knew going into that they didn't stand a chance. We knew that we were better. We knew that we were more physical. We knew we had more skill. And I think we just put that all together at the right time. Yeah, during the regular season, we didn't, do so well against them. But it all comes together in the playoffs when it really matters. And, that was I think that was probably one of the tougher series. I think, going into that, they thought they were going to walk all over us, but, we shut that down pretty quick, and, we came out on top, obviously, and it was really cool to be in the handshake line after and knowing that we won, and all that stuff that happened before the series was just in the past, and we can move on and focus on what we were meant to do.
Ben Gleason, you led the playoffs in 2018 in scoring by a defenseman. You hold the record for Hamilton Bulldogs franchise scoring by a defenseman, both regular season and playoffs. When you saw some opportunities in the playoffs, especially in the first 2 rounds, you weren't shy to jump in, scored a couple of spectacular goals. What were you seeing from the back end with such a talented forward group in front of you?
Our D-core was probably the leadership of our team. We knew that from the beginning. Dave Matzos was a great coach back there for us. He taught us, sometimes it's okay to, maybe do a little bit more than you should. And I've been told that my whole life. And I've also been told, by Steve and John, a bunch to, slow my roll sometimes. So, we definitely, we had a full D-core back there of guys that were willing to block shots, get in the way of, big guys, score, lead. It was a full team package back there. And, it's just great, to have a D-core like that.
Nick Caamano, when you look at this Bulldogs team, and Ben just mentioned the leadership on the back end, we saw all the additions up front. We saw 2 additions to that blue line group. Did you know immediately that after the trade deadline, headed into the playoffs, and once you get through that first round, that this group's going to be tough to stop?
Yeah, for sure. I think our culture has a lot to do with it. We have a winning culture here in Hamilton. I think that just sets the precedent. I think once we kind of beat Niagara and we had Kingston coming up, I don't think that we thought much could stop us. I think we're a really resilient group, and the bond that we had together, we just loved coming to the rink and competing together. And if I could do it all over again, I would. I know me and Gleason, we play with Fellhaber in Texas, and we give it to him almost every week about how we beat him in the playoffs. So it's still there, and then we still love reminiscing on the memories. I know Twisty came over when he played us too, and we were just watching the final games from the Sioux series together on the couch. So just little things like that, and we all stay in touch. So yeah, it's just nothing but good memories.
Mackenzie, Entwistle, one of the most famous moments so far in the history of the Hamilton Bulldogs is Isaac Nurse's overtime goal in Game 1 of the series against the Niagara Ice Dogs. I think maybe people forget that it was you and Matt Strome who set that play onto Isaac Nurse, and you think of 3 Bulldogs all taken in the same draft, combining to give the Bulldogs their first big playoff overtime win. What was it like stepping into the playoffs when you look at three defense pairs you can roll, 4 lines you can roll, and Caden Fulcher has your back.
Yeah, you know what? It was. I mean, it was pretty easy. Like you said, we had 4 really good lines. I think we had Arthur Calia, who I'm sure everyone knows now. I think he was on our 4th line, and he had 30 goals. So it just goes to show the depth we had, and just going back to the point earlier that Steve and Grudes were talking about, I think we had it all in terms of whether a team wanted to come and chirp, and I think other teams had to figure out a way to get under our skin and get us off our game. So like you said, it was special winning that series, and then obviously what we did after that. But it was pretty easy just because we had so many deep lines, and I think our 3rd and 4th line won us most of the series, to be honest.
When you go back and you take a look at the overtime victories that you had in the series against Niagara, John, it was almost reminiscent of, you look at the 93 Montreal Canadiens, who were unstoppable in overtime, the 1980s New York Islanders, who when they went to overtime knew they were going to win the hockey game. Did you guys have that same sort of feeling that somebody in that room is going to step up and deliver us here?
Yeah, I there was no doubt. Like when you're behind a bench, like I said, when you have a group of 4 lines and a leadership group and just the guys that were so close and so tight, there's really, regardless of the outcome, we always felt confident in a 7-game series that we were going to end up on tops. And it's tough to win in playoff hockey. And they made it tough, but there's always that feeling. Regardless, there was no doubt in our minds as a staff and as a group that we're not going to win that series. And it was 4-1, but obviously the games were close. But still, looking back on it, there was never a doubt in our mind that as a staff that we weren't gonna win that series.
Matt Strome, when you look back at some of these highlights against the Niagara Ice Dogs, a series that you missed the game in, and the team it felt like it kept on rolling. It seemed like it was next man up was the mentality. Next guy over the boards is going to do something special. When you were forced out of the lineup for a game, did you see a team that was going to be resilient no matter what coming through this?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously that wasn't ideal to miss the game there, but, it happens sometimes. But, yeah, I just knew that, watching I think I saw a different perspective, and I saw a little bit of a side I didn't know from Steve there in the press box. But, yeah, it was great, just watch them and see how special our group was. I think, we even the guys who weren't playing every game could jump in and, help us out. And I think that was huge with our team, that anybody could be the hero. And, it wasn't just one guy that led us. I think it was just a full team effort, and, it was just awesome to see.
Well, that brings us to the big one, and I'm going to bring Nick Caamano back in a moment, but everyone that was in the room right now was on this team when the Bulldogs lost to the Kingston Frontenacs in the 2017 playoffs in Game 7. You get them in the conference finals in 2018. They loaded up much the same as the Hamilton Bulldogs did, but Steve, when you look back at that, it just seemed like this was the time for the Hamilton Bulldogs. It wasn't the same sort of struggle that it was the year before. Hamilton, right from the beginning of that series, jumped on the Frontenacs and didn't let them up off the mat.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, we needed, Gruden and I talked long and hard about it. We needed that Kingston. As tough as it was to lose that game in Kingston, that was, we talk about building a team and getting prepared to win a championship. We needed that. We needed to feel that. I remember talking to Entwistle and Strome after that game. They're off to play for Team Canada, and they're both devastated by the loss and new exciting kind of venture moving forward. But, what I mentioned to those guys at that time was, you got to remember this, and this will be sort of a catalyst. But moving forward, that was an important time for us. But we watched other teams from a management perspective start to add to groups and load up and things like that. And to me, with how special this group was and the character of the group and the players that we had and the bond that we had, again, it didn't matter what other teams had done up until that point. We weren't, I think we made a deal after the fact, after another team had loaded up in Kingston, in fact, that they had a couple players. And, we made a deal that was in the works after that. And, people thought it was us reacting to what Kingston was doing. We had nothing to do with it from a building perspective. Again, we had them looking at these guys, it's the three of them, but you look at every single guy in the roster, I had no doubt in my mind. But certainly everything that you do leading up to it, not just the acquisitions, but the ups and downs that Grudes and the players have to deal with on a daily basis and how they got through it was all sort of leading up to these moments in the Eastern Conference Finals. We looked at the Kingston group, and the talent level on paper was on par. But again, for me, there was an underlying confidence that I had in this group and the coach that we were going to get through it.
We got a great question coming in from the fans. Richard Cunningham asked, did games 1 and 2 in Hamilton against Kingston shock anybody? 6 and then 7 unanswered goals for the Bulldogs. Any of you guys jump in on this one? Was anybody surprised that you guys were able to pour it on that much, or was this just the culmination of everything you guys had worked for?
I think that we knew, we had something special
I think,
in our locker room.
I can talk on this one. I think it was. I think we went into so many video sessions, and we had a while to prep for that series, and I think Gruden and Steve and all of our coaching staff did an amazing job for us to sort of know where we can hurt the Frontenacs and know how to get around their defensive structure, and it made it easy for us, and I think we saw that in the first 2 games. And that's why I think that's why we put up so many goals, and it was just fun. It was a fun atmosphere to be around. It was a fun atmosphere in Hamilton with all the fans, and I think we were all just enjoying it and having a good time.
Ben, feel free to jump back in there.
Yeah, I mean, we had something special. After rounds 1 and 2, we knew that we had a chance at getting past and getting to the finals. We weren't scared at all. I think we had more off days during playoffs than we did during the regular season because Grudes knew that, we weren't worried at all as a team. We knew that, we had to show up and perform. And if we didn't, we knew we would, maybe get yelled at or get coached a little bit more about. But, Grudes let us do our thing, during playoffs. And we weren't scared at all, against these teams. And those games 1 and 2, once 1 went in, we just kept pouring it on. And I think that we knew that we could bury them as fast as possible.
Nick Caamano, when you look back at that series against the Kingston Frontenacs, when you get brought over to Hamilton, you weren't a part of the team the year earlier that lost in Game 7, but did it become apparent rather quickly, along with being from the Hamilton area, that there was a deep rivalry with this Kingston team, and we want to get to the OHL final? We want to kind of pay these guys back and prove that we're the better team?
Yeah, for sure. You play them so many times during the regular season. Me only being there for little over half the year, I didn't like them as much as everyone else did, but yeah, definitely there's a rivalry there, and I wish we could have done it in 4, but it took 5 games, but we'll still take it.
Well, how much did it mean to you guys to lift the Bobby Orr trophy on home ice, knowing that the next goal was going to be to go up against the Sioux Greyhounds and take a run for the Robertson Cup?
I think we knew who we were going to go up against in the finals the whole time. I think it was pretty evident that, Sioux was the top team and we got counted out all year. Everybody thought that the Sioux was going to walk through everybody and, walk in the Memorial Cup and win that all. But, it was just so, we didn't want Lemmer to lift the trophy on the ice, but he kind of had to take it off the ice. But I think just having the fans embrace that before we got to actually lift it above our head was a really cool feeling.
Now, as you go back into the Kingston series and right at the end of it in Game 5, and John, I want to go to you on this one because you and Steve both played in the NHL as defensemen. And when you get into those situations of a tight 1-goal game or an overtime game, you're not necessarily expecting a defenseman to be the one that scores the game-winning goal. And if it had been the Bulldogs and somebody had been picking it, they probably would have picked Ben Gleason. But the man who scores the goal to put the Bulldogs into the OHL final was Connor Walters. And when you look back at players like Connor Walters and Jack Hanley, what did those guys mean to this team?
Well, they meant everything. Just the fact that when you have 6 defensemen, that all can play, and you're not ever, defenses can be sometimes as a younger player a tough position to play. We were never concerned who was on the ice with who. We knew all 6 guys could do the job. And it's nice to have that where you're not have to worry so much about the matchups, where guys can go out and just do their jobs and not have to worry about getting on or off the ice. And honestly, I forgot that he scored, but now that we talk about it, I think we got the puck for him. I'm pretty sure we did. And I made sure that he kept it up with his other goal that he scored during the year. And I'm sure he's still pretty proud of that goal. So, but it doesn't, it's not any more fitting for a guy like that to score it. It just tells us what we are and what we became, and then he ate it right afterwards, so he was all set.
That's awesome. Well, guys, what's the feeling like on the bench when a player like Connor Walters pots a goal? So strong, so steady, such a key part of the defensive game, key part of the penalty kill. But when he gives you a big goal, is that something that really just drives the bench?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everyone loves Wally. He's a great teammate, even better person. So to see him score when he doesn't really score that much, I know we were all really fired up on the bench. Everyone was hugging and screaming, and just to see him as happy as he was, I mean, I think we were more happy for him. So it's an awesome feeling.
Okay, guys, I'm getting the poke that we're going to go to our halftime break here, and when we come back, we've got some great questions from the fans listening on that I'm going to throw to you guys, and we are going to go back and relive the chase to the J. Ross Robertson Cup, the final series against the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. But before that, let's go to a little bit of a commercial break from our wonderful friends at Budweiser.
This Bud's for the Blues, the Reds, and the Warriors. This Bud's for the Magic, the Athletics, the Giants, and the Jazz. This Bud's for the Trailblazers, the Braves, the Canucks, and the Angels. This Bud's for the home team.
Well, huge thanks to our friends and partners at Budweiser, obviously presenting sponsors of tonight's show. We thank them for all their efforts and everything they do with us with the Hamilton Bulldogs. Again, we are live right now. You can leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and we can read that to our panel here tonight. Also coming up in Bulldogs Live, you'll have the video game edition on Thursday, May the 14th. Liam Van Loon playing NHL 20, Tag Bertuzzi and Arthur Kaliev. The face-off everybody's been waiting for in NBA 2K20. And then in the interview portion, I'll have Logan Morrison and Ryan Winterton on Friday at 4 p.m., followed by Liam Van Loon and Tag Bertuzzi on Friday, May the 22nd. So, guys, as we get back to reliving the 2018 OHL Championship, a couple of questions coming in. This one from Kennedy Reed. What was the mindset in the dressing room going into the final series against the Sioux? I think that's a great place to start. And I think, Coach, we might want to start with you and get the feel of what you felt from the players going into that.
Well, I think the players are more than ready. And I think there was a tone set leading up to playing these guys. It was a... I'm just bringing it up still, but to the point where we were down when we lost that game, 10-1. Man, it was a tough one, but it probably couldn't have happened at a better time, believe it or not. So I think the players knew, and they didn't need to be reminded of it and make it a sideshow or other than just going out and just doing what we've been doing. And we knew as a staff and as an organization that we weren't going to be afraid of any moment that was thrown at us. And just by the way we played in that first game and even the first period from the time the puck dropped, it's a pretty good feeling for our players knowing that we were going to go in and we were going to be a tough team to beat.
Guys, as the series was beginning against the Sioux, and I'll open this up to to Mackenzie Entwistle as well, who I'm going to bring back into the conversation here in a second. What was the feeling like for you guys knowing that you were going to start a series against the Sioux Greyhounds, who went wire to wire as Canada's #1 team? All the press, all the attention was on them. It didn't feel like there was ever any doubt from the Bulldogs that they could pull this off. So what was it like for you guys?
I guess I'll start. Yeah, I mean, we were kind of the underdog in that situation. I think everyone thought we were the underdog, but I think that's kind of what motivated us the most. I think we knew in the room that we could easily beat them and that we had the right group of guys. So we just kind of wanted to prove to everyone who the better team was. And I think that was the biggest thing for us. We knew, like, deep down that we were the better team and we were going to win and nothing was going to stop us. So it's kind of just trying to prove everyone wrong. And we kind of had that mentality and it worked out for us.
Yeah, I hope everyone can hear me a little better now. Can you hear me a bit?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I think going back to what Reed asked before, I think also Grudes would always come in the room and his pregame speech. I think every game he would say, "Boys, let's just play with some Hamilton swagger." And you know what? I think that's what we did. We just played as the Hamilton boys we were, and I think that's we play with the swagger, and I think that's why we had so much fun.
Great.
Yeah, I agree. I think our playoff model was bring the jam. I think right from when we knew who we were playing, it was just our mindsets turned, and we knew it was going to be a tough series. But like Caamie said, we knew we had the group to do it, and we just went out there and played, and we just had fun with it. We were the underdogs, like you said. We didn't have to worry about being the #1 team all year. It was just we went out there and played, and we had the best time of our lives, and we just came out on top.
Question coming in from the fans watching along. Did Steve Staios pass along his experience in the Stanley Cup run with the Oilers? That was the 06 team to help the Bulldogs during this run. Steve, what were you able to impart from your run with the Oilers? The magical 8 seed that went through the playoffs and was just dispatching higher-ranked teams left and right to this group.
One of the similarities to this group was just what the boys are talking about is the camaraderie and the character and the relentlessness, all stuff that's sometimes unquantifiable in today's world on trying to build teams. But you see some of these highlights in the boys, and they're genuinely happy for each other, and would take a bullet for each other. That was kind of where we were with that team that we qualified, I think, in the second last game of the season to make the playoffs, in the NHL playoffs, and went to the seventh game of the Stanley Cup final. So my job isn't really, from the building standpoint or helping groups create the culture. At that point, you pass it along to the coach and to the players. And again, it's you start to build, and it's years in the making, and to get to that point. But I don't think that my Stanley Cup experience probably affected it at some point, but not in any vocal way or any speech that I had for the players or anything like that. It was my job is to get the group together, create the culture and the vision, and put the people in place to be able to execute on it. And again, starting with Gruden and the players, like these guys, it's so special to look back on it. I don't take time to reflect very often, but I don't think there is one moment to answer the question that was the Stanley Cup experience that I had that I passed along to the group. I think it was all maybe just a little part of it.
Gruden, same sort of question to you. You had a career that saw you play the NCAA and the National Hockey League, starred in Europe and Berlin, Germany. What were you able to pass on from all of your experiences in the pros to these players?
Well, I mean, as far as me playing, I would never give them examples of, for me, one, playing in the NHL, I played in 3 games. So I really didn't have much. Actually, when I was in, Steve was in. So that's kind of the little time that I have. But I was part of, when I was with Ottawa, I was a black ace. I was around good players, how they prepared. But I didn't really bring anything as far as giving them stories about, because it wasn't about any story that I could give them that they didn't already prepare themselves for. So basically, I'm using my knowledge that I've learned over the years by playing, whether I'm in the DL, playing in the championship series, or in the IHL Game 7 a couple times. Just understanding, I know as a player, you have to feel comfortable, but all that work was done prior to, and sometimes less is more. And I think we kept it that way as a staff, and with Steve allowing us to do our jobs. It was huge, and knowing that, like these guys are talking about, you got to kind of just get out of the way, guide them, give them a couple things, but all that work was done prior to. You don't build a championship team in one series or one game and just all of a sudden hit lightning in a bottle. It comes over time, and we were comfortable with that.
Well, I'm going to pick on Nick Caamano here because he's the hometown guy. What did it mean for you to do this in front of the home crowd in Hamilton? And what kind of, and this is a question we've got a bunch of times here in our chat with fans asking, what kind of advantage did you guys have when the games were in Hamilton against the Sioux? Was the big crowd intimidating? The knowledge of the rink that you guys had, was it just all a big advantage for you to play in front of that home crowd?
Yeah, for sure. I think our fans were awesome, especially in that Sioux series. We sold out that arena, which was awesome. I think we had 10,000 fans in our final game. So getting energy from them wasn't really that hard. And I don't know, it was just an awesome feeling winning in front of my hometown. Had a lot of friends and family there. And just obviously winning it with this group of guys, it was something special and something we'll always cherish.
And guys, let's just continue that thought, because we're going to take a look back at the opportunity to lift the Robertson Cup here in a few seconds. And what did it mean to you guys to win the final series, not just beat the Sioux, but to beat them in Hamilton in a comeback in Game 6 in front of the biggest crowd in the OHL of the year?
It was something special for sure. I mean, we won every series at home. I think that was like a big thing for us. We knew that, when we scored in those lights, when, flickering on and off, like it was just fun. The game was fun. There's a lot of times where we talk about still where, some of the guys that weren't in the lineup, they were still a part of the family, and we still had fun no matter what. Having those fans there, screaming black and gold, it was unbelievable every game.
And Matt Strome, you were an original Bulldog. You and Mackenzie Entwistle, both the first draft class of the Hamilton Bulldogs. What did it mean to you guys to see out the goal from when you first arrived to then winning an OHL championship?
Yeah, we kind of saw it all. I think, our
Yeah,
first
I think,
year.
it was.
I think Mackenzie's on a delay. Matt, jump in first. I'll get Stromer after.
Oh, sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. But to answer your question, Reed, it was it was pretty special. And like you said, for me and Stromer being there day one and coming in, I remember it was tough. We played when the colors were red and white and now seeing the Hamilton colors and us celebrating in front of, like Cammy said, a sold out First Ontario Center, and all the fans that stuck with us through sort of everyone coming over from Belleville was definitely something special, and it's definitely something I'm never going to forget.
Yeah, I think we kind of saw it all. I think, I think some games in me and Mackenzie's first year, there's probably about 1,000 fans in the rink. And then when we won the trophy, it was sold out. So it was pretty cool to see. But yeah, we went through it all. I think Police was there pretty much for the whole year too. But, not making the playoffs from our first year to, having a heartbreak in Game 7 in the first round of the playoffs to winning it, is just, we saw all the ups and all the downs. And it really like matured me as not just a hockey player, as a human being, just being there and through it all. And something I'll never forget is my time in Hamilton.
Ben Gleason, let's get your thoughts on your family coming from Michigan to see that final Game 6 where you win it. I remember talking to you and your family on the ice after the game. They had to have been as charged up as any hockey family I've ever seen, and getting to see all the families of all the players on the ice, something that I don't think I'll ever forget, because it showed exactly what you guys put yourselves and your families together to do, and you're able to make this happen in a huge moment in front of a big crowd. What was it like for you?
It was, definitely something special. Getting drafted to the OHL was, a dream come true for a lot of kids. And, I went to London, and I was very, excited to get to play there and, hopefully get a chance to play there. I was set, a lot of games my first year, and, I didn't feel like it was the right fit for me. And I remember I got a call from Stevie at, early in the morning saying, hey, Hamilton's not too bad of a place. And, I was very excited to come. I was given an opportunity. I was, given, everything I ever wanted in Hamilton. I was treated like a pro when I was 17 years old, and I had no idea what that would feel like until then. And, a lot of kids that, are coming into the league now are like me, that just excited to get here. And for my family, to see, me lift the cup, the team lift the cup, a very good feeling for everyone.
John Gruden, what went through your mind during this photo? Coach, what were you thinking while you were holding the cup with your family? Well, did we lose Coach?
He's frozen with emotion.
I think he's got Entwistle's internet.
All right.
He's thinking, get my son to Hamilton.
We can talk about that off air. Steve, what were your thoughts doing this in front of your hometown crowd?
Well, first, I think what I realized when I see that picture is I gained 15 pounds over that playoff run, thanks to the boys and the stress that I was under. But no, it was listen. I mean, for me, it's interesting. Like as I reflect here, I was very fortunate to play a long time, play pro, play the National Hockey League, and have some accomplishments and gold medals and things like that with men's worlds. But to me, honestly, you think it's at the junior level, like just the junior level, and these guys are all going on to play pro. But this is, to me, the most rewarding experience that I've ever had in my life with hockey. And thanks to these guys and to Gruden. You talked about families and the sacrifice, and you reflect on a situation that we're going through right now. And you get time to sort of sit back and feel how fortunate we are. But I owe a lot to these players. I mean, they talk about how great it is in Hamilton and what we've been able to provide for them, but they provided me with the greatest moment in my time as a hockey player, as a management in management now. So pretty special. I mean, born and raised in Hamilton, and have the ability to help be part of and put this group together to be able to win a championship, win it on home ice, win it on Mother's Day in front of a sold-out First Ontario Center was still the most special moment in my hockey career.
Absolutely. It was an amazing day overall. Guys, a lighthearted one, and this one I want to bring up because Kristen Rafferty asked us, this is on behalf of her 8-year-old son, Roman, what kind of music were you guys listening to in the dressing room during that playoff run?
We listened to the same 15 songs for 2 months because of Connor Walters and Nick Caamano. It was the same song at the same time, at the same beat, and everybody sang along together. I think I still remember every song. Our first song was Beast of Burden, right?
Oh, yeah. Every time me and Wally kind of put a mix together before the meetings, then after the meetings, and then when we start getting dressed, we had the whole routine down. And yeah, like Gleason said, Beast of Burden was kind of our first song. The second we got to the rink, that was kind of what we played. And I still have the playlist on my phone right now, and I throw it on from time to time in the locker room. But Gleason knows all the throwbacks, but yeah, me and Wally were definitely team DJs.
Now, how did the team DJ rights end up in the hands of Nick Caamano and Connor Walters? Who made that decision?
Wally kind of
say I'm taking it.
No, you can't do that. Me and Wally sat beside each other, and I guess Wally kind of was doing it, and then I'd chime in and kind of help him pick some songs, and then it kind of just became a thing that we do together. I remember Strome came over, and I was living with Morsey at the time, and we mixed like the music that we would do for the on ice warm up. So we were like in our basement with our little MacBooks doing like a DJ thing, and we were down there for like 5 hours trying to mix a good beat and stuff. But just memories like that, I think we'll never forget, and it was just an awesome time.
Wally was definitely probably, something we always talk about is Wally being probably the best team guy in our locker room on that team. He was, a very special person, through his career. And I think for him, when he scored that goal too, it was something so special for him because he was probably the backbone of our team for sure. There was no way we would have been that good of a team without Wally.
Well, I think we've got Coach Gruden back, although it appears he's gone sideways.
Yeah, that happened long. There we go. I can do that, I think. Yeah.
Coach, oh boy. Coach, we have a picture up of you from Game 6 in Hamilton with your family holding the J. Ross Robertson Cup. What was that feeling like on the ice after the game? You've accomplished it, and you're standing there holding the richest prize in the OHL.
Well, it was obviously a very special moment for me and my family. They go through all that hard work, not only as from playing, but as we now are on the other side of it as management. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And again, it's knowing, and you're just an extension of the players that went through it, and us as being able to enjoy it. I know they were very proud and excited, and really enjoyed that time being able to spend on that ice, and I'm glad they were all there, not just a few of them, because that's kind of seems how it is now that they're all older and scattered. But it was a special moment, and again, like when Stevie did the speech in the Hamilton Hall, I feel like a Hamiltonian, again, being from Michigan, coming across and just realize how great the people were there of Hamilton, and it was a special time for me, and again, I'm glad my family was able to celebrate that moment with the Hamilton Bulldogs.
Peggy Chapman, I think we all know Peggy, asking who has their rings on.
Mine doesn't fit.
Look at this. Fantastic. Guys, I'm going to bring Mackenzie Entwistle back in because I want to open this up to everybody. What does everybody think as soon as they see this photo?
I'll start. I mean, it's and you could go. The one hard part about this is just the hour that we have to talk to each other and our fans and our sponsors and just the people in and around our group, our arena attendance. What that photo I think doesn't depict is every single person in that photo had an incredible amount of to do with us winning a championship. But then there's also another 5 or 10 or 15 people that they've affected. And that's what brings out really the emotion. We talk about our families. We talk about we haven't talked anything about our training staff just yet. We haven't talked about our doctors. We haven't talked about our front office staff. Like I have a photo with our front office staff where we're in tears after, like just all the hard work and just the day-to-day that goes into just that moment. That picture, you could look at that picture and the people in the picture, but also just the extension of who we are, all these guys on the call who have rings and have that memory. But man, the effect that we had on the city, the kids, the boys and the girls growing up playing hockey, just the ability to come together and win, it's just so difficult. And for us to be able to do it, I think the one thing that when I look at that picture is just on how many people that affected, not just, us being able to celebrate that moment, but with everybody else in and around us.
Yeah. I'll 100% just go. I know we're crunched on time here, but just the ability to celebrate with everyone in that picture. I mean, the video, Danny Russell, Jipper, Danny Bushy, JP. I mean, just everyone looking back at this, we have a connection for the rest of our lives. And what we did was special as a group and collectively from the top down. And it was a lot of fun, exciting. It sure would be fun to be able to relive that. But this is good for us, and I really glad to be part of this. And it's pretty cool, especially during these tough times.
Well, and I think this kind of sums up what exactly that you guys are talking about right here. Bill Yates writes in, "You boys turned my entire family onto hockey. All 3 kids playing hockey now because of y'all." That right there is the kind of effect that, Steve, you talked about that I remember from day one when this organization turned into the OHL, turned to the OHL league and became the Bulldogs that we know now. And I think 5-6 years on, you're seeing the effects of what you put into place back in 2015.
Well, all thanks. And listen, the one person we haven't talked about is, the top of the organization, and Michael Landlauer. And with him, his commitment to the city and to bringing hockey in Hamilton, the OHL, allowed us to do and live out this dream. Without his support and him being who he is, I never would have been able to start the process to be able to do what we did. So, and it's a lingering effect, certainly is, and it goes years down the road. Just the layers of people that we have affected with not only our championship, but just what we do on a day-to-day basis in Hamilton.
Guys, one thing that I know is as we start to run towards the end of the broadcast here, that everybody has asked about it and wanted me to catch everyone up on what you guys are doing now. So, Steve, obviously everybody knows still the president, general manager of the Hamilton Bulldogs. But, Coach, let's go to you. For people who may not be aware, catch them up on where you are now and what it is you're doing.
Yeah, I was being part of this great organization, like Steve said, starting with Michael. We were able to do something special in Hamilton. Just like a lot of these players were able to sign contracts, I was able to move on and get an opportunity with the New York Islanders. So I'm an assistant coach at the New York Islanders now. And again, I wouldn't have ever got that opportunity if it wasn't for the people that I surrounded myself with. And again, the players that put in their time and effort and did everything that we asked as a staff. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. Obviously, we're on hold in the holding pattern, but I'm very fortunate to be been head coach for the Hamilton Bulldogs, and now I'll be working for the New York Islanders.
Fantastic, and soon to be a head coach in the National Hockey League. My opinion, but I have no doubt about it. Nick Caamano, what are you up to these days?
Yeah, I'm playing down in Texas in the American Hockey League with Ben here, and I've had a lot of good memories so far, and hopefully both of us can move our way up into the big team in Dallas. But just quarantining right now and not a whole lot to do. But yeah, definitely nice having a fellow guy you played in juniors with and won a cup with in Texas. That makes the transition a lot smoother. So it's definitely awesome having him there.
So it's only proper to go to Ben Gleason next, who now has to say something nice about Nick Caamano in return.
Yeah, we lived together last year. I think the golf game got a lot better, throughout the season playing in Texas. But yeah, it was a great time, in Hamilton. It was a family there. We were a family, like we were strong. Getting a chance to play with Nicky in Texas and in Dallas, it's a dream come true for us. And right now, I'm sitting at home, quarantined. My mother's a nurse, and God bless her for all the work she's doing right now. And, it's been tough around my house with that. And, it's something that hopefully ends soon and everyone can be safe and healthy again and we can get back to hockey.
And thank you to your mom, Ben, because she is one of the heroes in this situation that we're all living in right now. And I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think I can in this moment that we all love and respect everything that she's doing to keep us all in general safe and healthy at this time. So thank you to her for all of her work in the field.
Thanks.
Mackenzie Entwistle, what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm playing in Rockford in the AHL, and like Steve and Gruden and Cammy and Gleason said, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be playing where I'm playing without the Hamilton Bulldogs organization. And they helped me through you know, when I was 16 all the way up till I was 19, and kind of grew me into the, you know, the player I am on the ice, and not only that, but the person I am off the ice. So, you know, it's like I said, it's a world-class organization, and you know, surprisingly, I'm back home now, and I'm actually staying in Hamilton. So, you know, I haven't left, and I just got my new rollerblades put on. So I'm just trying to stay positive, obviously, during this time, and going out and stick handling and doing the things that we can, and just obviously quarantining. So.
It's and give me a call when this quarantine stuff is over. I'll come down and skate with you. Matt Strome, what are you up to?
Not a whole lot. I think, you know, I spent last year in between the AHL and the ECHL and the Philadelphia Flyers organization. And, you know, it's just to go through that, it's been an unbelievable experience. And everybody said it, but just my time in Hamilton really matured me as a player. And right now I'm just, you know, playing lots of video games and working out as much as I can. My brother got us a Peloton bike here, so I've been using that, and just, you know, trying to stay positive, trying to, you know, my brother's having a baby soon, so I'm going to be an uncle hopefully in the next couple days. And other than that, just trying to stay safe and just, yeah, like I said, playing lots of video games, mostly with Gleason and Acker. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Steve, what's this like to be able to catch up with a few parts of the 2018 team that did so much for the city of Hamilton in terms of hockey?
Yeah, it's special. You know, I'm really thankful for this. Again, I don't take time to reflect very often. It's not my personality to kind of keep moving forward. And I think back to these days fondly. I didn't get a chance to really catch up and see these ugly mugs again on screen here. But no, it's special. I mean, I got a story about each and every one of these guys. They're like my kids. You know, there's I could dig back, and we could stay on this call for about 5 hours. It could get a little bit anyway, but we won't go there. But no, it's just really, really special. You know, I appreciate it every time I think about it. This gives me a good time to reflect. I mean, these guys are all really special to me, and again, it's great to reflect and be able to catch up there.
Guys, as we tick on towards our end here, I just want to give you all the opportunity to jump in. I'm going to bring Matt Strome in as well and take myself off the screen for a few moments and just let you guys say whatever you want to the fans in Hamilton, whatever you want to say about reliving the 2018 OHL championship and to one another. So go ahead, guys, pick the order you want to go in, and let's hear from everybody on screen.
You guys want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, like the fans are everything to us. Our season ticket holders, our sponsors, Budweiser for being a title sponsor, just putting this together. I think more than anything for me, it's again just the people that we surround ourselves with, the relationships we build. We're so fortunate to be part of this game of hockey. It distracts us from real life sometimes when we go through a situation like we're going through in the world right now, but then we can't wait to get back at it. The deep appreciation I have for the city of Hamilton, the things that we do with our Bulldogs Foundation, just thankful, grateful, all those types of words. These boys right here, I love them. Grude's, you know, like just the leader of this group to reflect back on just that. But every single player, I know we only have a handful of them on the call here, but they're all very special people, and they're champions, and champions walk together forever.
Yeah, just to follow up with that, let's first get to the truth of Gleason's ring. He gave it to his girlfriend.
I did not. Macker's living with his.
No, yeah.
Yeah, Macker.
But
no, it's just because I want to stay in Hamilton. That's why.
Yeah. So just having a little fun here with these guys. I think what we have is not fake. It's real. It's something. It was quite the personality, the group of characters. Like he said, we love them. And again, during these tough times and talking about this, we still haven't really talked about remember that play backdoor or anything like that. Sage is a great move in that one game, and it all has to do with just being around great people and hardworking and having fun coming to the rink. It's still a game. Don't make it a job. Obviously, it's your livelihood, but all that stuff it comes beforehand. But it's just fun to see in the excitement we had and the fun and everyone had a smile on their face, and you can still see it. It's not fake. This is easy for us to do. It's fun, and again, thanks to the Hamilton organization and Steve and everybody, and it was a blast. I mean, again, from the top down, but it was fun. And again, I'll let these guys go, but it was quite the time, and I'm sure we'll have many more times like this.
It was definitely something special. I think the most special part of it all was after practice when we'd see Grudes and JP in their headbands getting ready for the big ping pong matches. And I knew we had fun. Even when we were in video sessions or before meetings when Grudes would walk in and we would throw trash on the floor just to see if he would pick it up, because every time he would always walk on a clean floor. So we knew he set the bar high, and Steve set the bar high with us as well. And Mr. Anlauer, he let us do what we wanted to do and become champions. So it was a lot of fun for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. Like everyone said, I think it's kind of the people that kind of mean the most. I think looking back on my time in Hamilton, everyone from Mr. Anlauer to Steve to the coaching staff, even our training staff, I still keep in touch with everyone. I think everyone was great people, and that's how you kind of win championships, with great people. And the guys on the team were unbelievable, and we had so many memories off there. It's just always hanging out together and just doing fun stuff to kind of keep our mind away from the game. And every time we came to the rink, it was fun. We were joking around, but we kind of knew when to work hard and when to buckle down. And that's what I loved about it. I think everyone treated us like a pro, and that's kind of the best way to do it. And I wish we could do this call for 5 hours. I hope we do a reunion soon and we can see everyone, have a few drinks and kind of celebrate what we did. But obviously I miss all you guys and hope you guys are staying safe.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Shomer. Sorry, go ahead.
I just think the memories we have, I mean, yeah, the times at the rink were unbelievable. I think it's just like all the stuff away from the rink was the big thing that stands out for me. I think, the celebrating after each round we won was, something we'll never forget. And I think for a couple different reasons, but I think just like whether it's hanging out at my billets in the pool or at Cammy's house in the basement, listen to music. It was just, there's always something we were doing. And I just remember those times like it was yesterday. And like they all said, I wish I could go back and relive it. And once we get through this, we should definitely have a reunion.
Yeah, I think also, like Stromer said, one thing we miss is thanking all the billets. And I know my time in Hamilton, I had 2 great billets, and I know Cammy lived at home with his family, but I know we were always over at Gleason's billets and Stromer's billets, jumping in the pool, having late night hot tubs and just things like that, just memories that that we'll never forget. And I mean, obviously it was a fun time at the rink, and obviously winning the championship in front of the great fans of Hamilton was definitely something special. But I think it's the friendships that are really going to stick with us, and whether it's a golf game in the summer or a pickup game or I know me, Stromer, and Gleason have all been playing Call of Duty on Xbox, and they're not very good. I gotta say, but, I think I'm the worst out of all of them. But no, it's just little things like that are gonna stick with us, and I think it's friendships that we're gonna have for the rest of our lives.
Well, guys, thanks so much for being here on this call. I know from my point of view, it's through you guys in the Hamilton Bulldogs organization that's allowed me to live a dream to be the voice of hockey in my hometown. And I don't know that it'll be easy to have as much fun calling a team as I had calling you guys on that run to the 2018 OHL championship. So thank you guys so much for everything you've done for hockey in the city of Hamilton. And thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thanks.
Thanks, Reed.
Yeah, thanks, Reed.
That's been our 2018 reunion roundtable brought to you by our great friends at Budweiser. Just to give you an update on what's coming up on the Bulldogs Live episodes, you are going to see the video game series roll along. Liam Van Loon playing NHL 20 Thursday, May 14th from 3 to 4 p.m. And then the showdown everyone's been waiting for. Tag Bertuzzi and Arthur Kaliev, NBA 2K20, Thursday, May 21st, 11 a.m. I understand there's been a lot of back and forth between those two on who's going to take that home. I've got a couple interview segments coming up Friday, May the 15th, 4 p.m. Logan Morrison and Ryan Winterton, along with Liam Van Loon and Tag Bertuzzi on Friday, May the 22nd. Once again, thank you for tuning into our 2018 OHL Champions Roundtable. One more time, thank you to Budweiser, as we'll end the show with them.
This Bud's for the Blues, the Reds, and the Warriors. This Bud's for the Magic, the Athletics, the Giants, and the Jazz. This Bud's for the Trailblazers, the Braves, the Canucks, and the Angels. This Bud's for the home team.